My dear students, good morning. This is Deepak and today I shall be taking up the chapter The Road Not Taken, a beautiful poem that is written by Robert Frost. In the online class, I have already discussed and explained the entire poem, and in today's class, I intend to discuss its question and answers. Okay, so I request you to listen to this audio content carefully. Okay, my dear students. So let's start. Thinking about the poem. 1. Where does the traveler find himself? What problem does he face? Answer. The traveler finds himself in the yellow woods at a point where the road forks into the forest. He is unable to decide which road to take to continue his journey, since it is not possible to take both the roads at the same time. Question number 2. Discuss what these phrases mean to you. Number 1. A yellow wood. The yellow woods symbolize the autumn season, which is synonymous to old age. The poet may be referring to the middle ages of life. It was grassy and wanted wear. It was grassy and wanted wear. It means that the road was full of grass and had not been used by travelers, as it did not seem to be disturbed or crushed. The passing there. The road is frequented by travelers. Leaves no step had trodden black. The leaves did not seem to have been crushed by the footsteps of travelers for fear of the unknown and uncertainties. How way leads on to way. This expression means that the decisions we make in life leads us onto the future roads or paths that we have to take as we move on in life. Question number 3. Is there any difference between the two roads as the poet describes them? 1. In stanzas 2 and 3. Answer. In stanza 2, the poet explains that the only difference between the two was that the one he chose was grassy and wanted wear. It seemed to be less worn out by travelers. However, on second thoughts, it seemed to be equally worn down in a similar manner. However, in stanza 3, he says that on that morning, both the roads seemed to be equally covered with the autumn leaves, and it seemed no traveler had so far walked the paths. Second, in the last two lines of the poem, the poet says that he took the road less traveled by people, and that he made all and has made all the difference in his journey of life. Question number 4. What do you think the last two lines of the poem mean? Looking back, does the poet regret his choice or accept it? Answer. The poet says that he made a decision at the fork to take the challenging path and stood by his decision and has accepted the reality of his life. He has titled the poem The Road Not Taken. The last lines, I took the road less traveled and that has made all the difference, means that his choice to be different was the cause of his life changing for the good or for the bad. He has only said that it made a difference and not specified the nature of the difference. Therefore, he could either be regretting or rejoicing the aftermath of his choice. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice, or do you think you will have difficult choices to make? How will you make the choice? For what reasons? Answer. I have not had to face a situation where it was required for me to make a choice with regard to my life. It would come up sooner or later when I would have to make a choice of a career. It would be wise not to succumb to peer pressure or the prevailing trends, but to follow my aptitude and interest. My choice would also depend on future prospects offered, my financial credibility, and the novelty or uniqueness of the specific career. It is important that I follow my passion and be happy with what I am doing. I would therefore assess all opinions before I take the final plunge and will never not make hasty decisions. Question number 2. After you have made a choice, do you always think about what might have been, or do you accept the reality? Answer. Once I have made a choice after pondering over the issue of what I want to achieve, then there will be no scope of looking back or changing my decision. The reason being, the choice I make will not be an impulsive one. I know that the journey to reach the goal will definitely have unexpected hurdles, some pleasant and some unpleasant. But challenges are a part of growth and failures are stepping stones to success. Okay, my dear students, now let me discuss some short answer questions. Number 1, describe the two paths at the crossroad in the forest. Answer. The poet comes across a path in the forest that was diverged into two directions after a particular point. One path seemed to have been well travelled upon as the leaves seemed blackened or crushed under footsteps of the passerby. The other seemed less walked on as the grass was green and undisturbed. Question number 2. Which road did the poet take to travel and why? Answer. The next morning, when the poet came back to the same spot, he noticed that more leaves had covered both the paths, and this added to his confusion as they looked very similar then. He therefore decided to take the second path and leaves the first to be taken, if required at some time in the future. Question number 3. What is the significance of the two roads in the poem? Answer. The two roads symbolize the diverse and confusing situations we have to confront during our journey of life. The narrator chose the path that was grassy and wanted beer, perhaps because he did not want to follow the crowd and wanted to do something unique with his life. 4. Do you feel the poet was happy with his decision in the choice of road to be taken? Answer. The poet at first seems to be happy with his choice of taking the untrodden path. However, he says that he will talk about his choice with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. It is not clear whether the sigh would be of relief or sadness. Question number 5. What does the poet want to signify when he says the road bent in the undergrowth? Answer. The road bent in the undergrowth obstructs the vision of the traveler and prevents him from seeing any further. Metaphorically, the undergrowth speaks of the future that was not very clear in his mind. Question number 6. Why did the poet take long to ponder over his decision? Answer. The poet knows that a decision once taken will influence and affect his whole future. So, he takes a long time to decide. He wanted to choose the path that would lead him successively from one to the other and another. Question number 7. I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. What is the speaker trying to convey? Answer. The poet took the path less travelled as he was of independent spirit and did not want to follow the crowd. He is trying to convey that the choices in the present influence our future life. Personal contentment is more important than to be influenced by the crowd. Question number 8. Why was the poet doubtful of being able to walk the road not taken in the future? Answer. The poet is not too sure as to whether he would need to be or be able to walk the other road. There is a tone of melancholy because he is unsure about the appropriateness of his choice, or perhaps he might be experiencing a sense of excitement in the event of the choice being right, for then he would not have to walk the path he had abandoned. Now, long answer questions, 100 to 150 words, 8 marks each. Number 1. Write a paragraph on your understanding of the poem, The Road Not Taken. Answer. The Road Not Taken is a poem that has a significance in the life of every human being, big or small, rich or poor, male or female, all over the world. The poet has dealt with a very important issue of making choices, and every moment of our life requires us to make a choice. The poet, however, is referring to the bigger and more important choices that eventually decide one's future. It may be the choices that would decide our career, our family, our future. Therefore, it is essential that we are not too hasty in making a choice, neither should we be overcautious while doing so. Life is a challenge and we need to have the courage to face it. I wish to interpret the last line as being a sigh of relief that he would be taking as he had been fortunate in having taken the right road. Question number 2. Show how the poet uses metaphor, imagery and personification, illustrating that there are challenging choices which may initially seem equal, but once those decisions are made, they can actually make all the difference. Answer. In The Road Not Taken, the poet employs extended metaphor, making the reader to imagine several comparisons. The poet states the two roads diverging in a yellow wood. Literally, there are two roads that fork out in the forest. The roads represent the challenges people have to make in the journey of life. The forest represents life. The forest is yellow, indicating the autumn season. The season is a personification of the middle age, when man is mature to make decisions. The fallen leaves represent the opportunities waiting for us to take in the journey of life. Since autumn is followed by winter, the poet wants to show that autumn is a time when decisions should be made wisely, as we may not get an opportunity to retrace our steps to take the other paths we could have taken but did not. He uses imagery while saying, and both that morning lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Question number 3. Anne had completed her class 12 examination and had secured a distinction. Complete the story and provide a suitable title. Answer. I Had a Dream. Anne had completed her class 12 examinations and had secured a distinction. She was the topper in her school. She was the first person to have been educated in her family. Anne's father was a poor scavenger, while her mother had died while giving birth to her fourth sibling. Along with her studies, the younger teenager would work in the neighboring houses as a maid and took care of all the needs of her younger siblings like a mother would. She had reached a stage in her life where she had to make a choice between continuing her studies and abandoning it. Life would be tougher and more demanding as the cost of living was becoming higher and all the younger ones had to be educated. Anne was very focused and mature. She decided that it was necessary that she moves ahead with her education and career. The smart girl secured admission for MBBS on her merit in a government medical college. She worked very hard at home and at college and stood first in the university in the final year. The young doctor did not regret the road she chose, nor did she forget her roots. She succeeded in making all her siblings professionals and is now one of the best physicians in the state of Goa. Her father leads a comfortable life thanks to his dynamic daughter. My dear students, that's all from today's class. I request all of you to listen to all the contents carefully, and if you have any problem, please convey the same to me as fast as possible. Thank you very much, my dear students.